in Budapest?
No,
Only in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, beautiful city. And it's a beautiful city.
The shul, yeah, the shul, yeah, the shuls are gorgeous.
Where are you?
We're on the Dohani Street. The hotel
Yeah.
is a few blocks from the Dohani, but there's also the Rumbach Shul. Every shul we've been
Many
in three or
shuls.
four.
They're all beautiful.
All the shows are beautiful there. Yeah,
They don't build shuls like this anymore.
No.
Yeah, Tony Curtis built fixed up the Dahani shul there.
They had to, the dinners was at the Carmel restaurant, which is a beautiful restaurant. There's other tourists here. We had our own area, but there's people come from Israel with their
There's a
family.
lot. Yeah, it's very popular.
Ernie, you would have loved this northeast. France was unbelievable.
I know. I would have loved to go to Normandy.
Not only Normandy, it's also when we went to where Rashi was, where he lived all the time. I mean,
did you go to Metz? Did you go to Metz?
No, not to Metz. Rashi did not live in Metz.
He was in Worms.
He studied. No, he didn't live in Worms. No,
he studied in Worms. That was his yeshiva.
He studied in Worms. He was there for only 3 or 4 years. He lived in
Troyes.
Yeah, Gerard was born in Metz.
Yeah, he lived in Troyes, and then we went to Champagne. We went to it was just phenomenal. Seriously, phenomenal places. Also, there's a place called Rouen. R-O.
The cathedral.
Yes. Rouen is a cathedral
there.
No, it's not only the cathedral. It's where the Joan of Arc was put on fire, and they found from the year 1100 the Balei Tosfos, the Rashbam. Rashbam would learn for 3 years over there, and they found from the Balei Tosfos a base medrash under the ground, which looks exactly like a real base medrash. And they connected to the Balei Tosfos, learned over there. It was unbelievable. So it was really very interesting. Okay.
Good Zion. Again, tomorrow we'll learn at 9 p.m. Sunday night. That'll be Monday morning. Yud Zion. We Jews were given the taste of Olam Haba during this life. Elohim, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Avram Dechsiv Bey Bakol, because it says Vashem Berach as Abraham Bakol. By Yitzchak Dechsiv Bey Mikol, because it says by waiting for the food that Yitzchak would bring him. It says Va'uchal Mikol, I will eat from everything that was brought. Yaakov Tichsiv Beikol says he told Esav, I don't the Chiyeshli Kol, I have everything. That means I didn't have none of them lacked any good thing. And Chazal know that they tasted Olam Haba in this world. 3 people, hi Johnny. 3 people didn't have the Yetzer Hara. Elohim, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Tzlivu, Bakol, Mikol, Kol. By having everything, they didn't have the Yetzer Hara as well. And how do you know that?
Sorry, Yoni, what daf are we in?
Hiya, Johnny.
17.
Huh?
Yud Zion.
17? Okay, thanks.
The David also didn't have the Yetzer Hara. The Siv, the Libi Chalal B'Kibi. I have an empty space in my heart, and because the Yetzer Hara has died inside of me. Now, is it the other Madomar who says it was only Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, sorry who the Komatkar. The reason he says he had a hole in his heart or an empty heart, all the tzoros that he had, the Yitzhar went away. About a Trisha will show up in Malchamadas that on their death, the Malchamadas didn't have Shlita over them. Anyway, in Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Miriam. Aaron Yitzchak Yaakov Tzibu Bakol Mikol Kol. As part of this bracha that they had everything, they died with Neshika. They died with a kiss from the Shechina. And Bakol Mikol Kol means they didn't lack any covet. Moshe Aaron Miriam Tzibu Al Pi Hashem. Says they died through a Neshika from Hashem. Frankly, more about Miriam Luksiv Al Pi Hashem. Doesn't say what by Miriam, which we just had in this week's Parsha, that Miriam died. It didn't say Al Pi Hashem. Rabbi Lozer, Miriam Nami ben Neshika Mesa. Chazal had a tradition that Miriam also died the same way. The Osya Sham Mimosha, because it says they died there, and similar to connected to the way where Moshe died. It's like a Gzeira Shava, but the same way Moshe died, Miriam died. However, the Neimalo Nemar Baal Pi Hashem Sheknaya Dovelo, to say that Hashem kissed a woman, it's not sneas. So it's not mentioned like that because it's lacked sneas. Torabona. Shiva Lo Shalop and Rima V'Soleya. 7 people that when they died, they didn't have worms. Elohein Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, Moshe Aaron Miriam, Uvinyamin ben Yaakov, and Binyamin, one of the Shvatim. Avram Yitzchak Yaakov Tzchiv Ubakom Mikol Kol. Moshe Aaron Miriam Tzchiv Al Pi Hashem. Binyamin ben Yaakov Tzchiv Ulevinyamin Amar Yedid Ar Hashem Yishkon Lavetach Alav. Vetach, that means Yishkon Lavetach Binyamin Al Smichas Yedidus Hashchina. He will remain intact through Betach. Yesham Mav David, Tzchiv Af Besari Yishkon Lavetach. Same thing, his flesh will remain forever without being deteriorated. The other man doesn't include David. What is Af Besari Yishkon Lavetach? Avu Rachmu the Kuba. He's davening. It was a tefillah, but it was not Makuyim in David according to that pshat. Torah Arba Mesu that these people would not have been royed to die, since with the mice of the Nochash, who convinced Chava to give Adam to eat from the Eitz Hadas, and there was a Gzeir of Misa on all of the children of Adam Arishon because of the advice of the snake. The etio shel nachash refers to the etza, to the advice of the snake. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have died. Elohein Binyamin ben Yaakov, Amram Avi Moshe, Amram the father of Moshe, Yishai Avi David, Yishai the father of David, V'chilav ben David, Kilav the son of David. V'kulu Gemar. It's not psukim. This is a Masorah that we received. L'bar mi Yishai Avi David. The Meforish Beikot received Ve'es Amosa Sam Avshalom Tachas Yoav Alatzava. That Avshalom, when he rebelled, he put Amasa instead of Yoav as the general. The Amasa ben Ish. Amasa was the son of a person. Ushmo Yisra HaYisraeli, who was Yisra Asher Ba El Avigail, who had relations with Avigail, Bas Nochash. Avigail was the daughter of Nochash, who was Achos Truya Ein Yoav. Truya is the mother of Yoav. Truya is the sister of David HaMelech. Therefore, Nachash, more says the Chibas Nachash, Yalo Bas Yishayi. The Chsiv Ba'ach Yoseyam, Tzruya of Avigail. The sisters of the brothers of David were Tzruya and Avigail. So why are you calling Yishai Nachash? Ela Bas Misha Meis Petishal Nachash. Yishai was one of the people who died with the eights of Nachash because he wouldn't have been roy to die. Perak Sheni. Lo yachpor adam bor samach lebor shel chaveru. You shouldn't dig a bore next to your neighbor's bore. By digging the bore, you're going to damage it. So we'll see what you have to do to dig it. You have to dig it further away. Lo siach, you can't dig a ditch, a long, narrow ditch. V'lo ma'ara, a covered bore. V'lo amas amayim, an irrigation ditch. V'lo nivreches koivsin, something that was dug in the ground that the launderers would use to launder clothing. Unless you distance this structure that you're trying to build 3 tefachim away from the wall of your friend. And sad besid, that bore, or whatever structure you're going to put water in, you have to line it with lime, like cement, so that the water won't leach through. It'll damage the wall. Umarchikin is a gefes, that after you, when you're pressing olives and their branches to make olive oil, it's the remaining psoilas, the remaining material that's left behind. Vesazevel, fertilizer, dung, the excretions of animals. Vesamelach, vesasid, salt and lime. Vesasloy mikoser shechaver shloshet tvachim. You have to keep it away, those items, from the wall of your friend, at least 3 tvachim. O sad besid, or the wall had to be lined with lime so it wouldn't get damaged. New halacha, marchikin es azroin. You have to, again, distance areas in the ground that you're going to put seed. Beta machresha, you don't plow. Vesmei raglayim, urine, minakoisel, shloshet tvachim. Again, these are things that could damage a wall. So you have to, again, distance them 3 tvachim. Marchikin es arechayim, shloshet tvachim, min hashachav. A rechaim is a grinder, and there was a circular stone, and then on the bottom, and another circular stone on top, which was a little smaller. So the stone on the bottom is called the shachav. That stone had to be distance arba min harechav. Again, you had to distance it 4 tfachim. There's a tanur, the oven, they were built like a, here. I'm going to send a picture right now. To the Daf Yomi, 1 second. Okay, you should have the picture on your phone. The 2 tanurs that one is like you'll see the top one is like a jug, and the fattest part is called the kalya. There's another example where the tanur is placed on sort of a circular cement thing where in the bottom there they would put the coals. That's the kalya. So the kalya had to be distanced arba minasofe from the lip of the widest area. You see the picture that I sent?
Yeah.
Those are the two types of Tana. The Kalya on the top is either the widest part, or the Kalya on the bottom picture is the widest part on the bottom. Now, the Gemara said, Lo yachpor bor samach leboro shel chavero. And then Messiah b'koisel. Then it says you have to distance it from the wall. What do you mean? Shouldn't it say distance it from the bore? Listen, Elim can hirchik mibor shel chavero shlosha tvachim. The way the Mishnah started. Amar Abai v'tem Rav Yehuda mikoisel bor sheni. We're talking about they built a wall around the bore. So again, the distance had to be from the wall around the bore. So the Gemara asked, "The listening Elim can hirchik mibor shel chavero shlosha tvachim." Why not say distance it from the bore? And we would understand that it meant doing. So Kabbalah should cost the bore has to be at least Shlosha Tvachim thick. Nafkamina Mekakomenka. Let's say you're going to buy a bore. In Italian, I don't know if I'll be a bore because I'm selling you my bore and its wall. We learned Agav, the halacha that the fact that the wall around the bore has to be at least 312. Itma. How about lismok b'tzad mates? You want to distance the things that we've described in the Mishnah to build from. There's no board there, but you're at the border with your friend's field. Maybe in the future he's going to build something there, but you have to distance these items away from the gavul of your friend because you have to worry maybe he'll build something there. Abaye Omar Soime. Abaye says yes, you have to distance it, even though there's nothing there currently. Rabbi Omar ain't a Soime. Now, the Sada Asuya boils. But that might feel that is potentially capable of having a board down there. In that case, Divra Kol innocent. Everybody will hold you. You cannot take one of your items there because we know there's to be a board there. He pligi the sort of shenas is the bonus. The field that is it's not really Roy for a board. You're allowed to build there because not all the borders. No border is going to be built there, so you should have no restriction of what you want to build there. The underlay, just like you now decided to build this thing, I'll also change my mind, even though it's not Roy. I might do it anyways. According to Rav, I have to distance it. Ikedi Amri. Other people learn this machlokes differently. That the sort of sheina asur the border to koso. So a field that's not potentially moved up there, you're allowed to dig whatever you want there. Even a field that is potentially for boires, whether you could dig with there. Amar Abaye Omer Semech. Since there's no physical board there yet, so then you're not restricted with what you can build on your field. Afil Rabbanon de Amri, even according to Chacham in our Mishnah said, Marchikin is Sa'ila min Abor Esrim Chamesh Amma. Later on, we're going to learn that if you're going to plant a tree, you have to plant it at least 25 amas away from the bore, because your tree are going to have deep roots. The roots are going to damage the bore. Hasa mishum de ba'idna de kanata issa. There, the reason why you have to distance your tree 25 amas from the board, there was a board there. But now when you want to build something here on your side of the field, there's nothing there. Therefore, you're not required, even according to Chachamim, who over there, a machmir with a tree, since there's nothing physically here now, even though it's potentially Roy in the future, you don't have to worry about that. But Rav Amar Eino Samech, and Vafil Rav Yosi, the Omar, Zechoy for Besok Shalom, Zenote Besok Shalom. According to Rabbi Yossi, you don't have to distance your tree and worry that maybe the roots will spread. Hanimile Hosam to be in the Konot to listen to the Sharsh of the Masculate. When he plants, there's no roots damaging the bore. And therefore, at the time he plants, there's no damage. Aval Hacha, here in our case, Omer Lay, Kol Marva Mardu Kamachayas, Kamarfas Ila. He can say like this: your act of digging your own bore, or whatever the Mishnah mentioned, digging, causes weakness to the ground, and it causes weakness to my ground. So right now, you're causing me right now nezek. It's not a future nezek. So the Gemara is going to try to bring proofs to these shitas. It's not. Our Mishnah says, "Liachpar adam bor, samach lebor shel chaveru." You shouldn't dig a bore on your property next to the bore of your chaver, unless you distance it from the wall of that bore 3 tefachim. Time of the ikabor. So we deduce, why can't you? Because there's a bore there. Haleka bor swemich. If there's no bore, you'd be able to dig there. So bishmalach lishna. So we had 2 ikede amris. So the way we just learned is good according to the lashon. Amit shebesada she'en asur lebor is divrei kol swemich. According to the mandama that said there is no machlokes when there's a field that's not royal to a bore, then we could explain. Mas nisan, our Mishnah is besada shein asur leboros. We're talking about a field that's not made for boros. But laach lishna, the amrit, besada shein asur leboros pligi. That there's a machlokas, a Abai and Rava, even by a soda that's not royal leboros. So I don't understand. Maybe our Mishnah bishmala by anicha, because it says you're allowed to be soymech. If you're 3 tefachim more, el Rava kasha, he says you may not build anything at all on the Meitzar, on the Gvul. Armel Charava. But you shouldn't be medag like that. Because ha'itmar Allah, Amar Abai v'yitem Rav Yehuda, mikoisel boirish, it's not the bore itself. He said you have to distance it from the wall of the bore. Okay. And Ikedi Amri, other people learn it to support a bio. Bio says we're talking about the wall of the board. So Bishmalach Lishna, according to Loshan, the Amit Besodas is we're talking about a field that's potentially you could build a board there, Divrakol and because he might build a board there. So our Mishnah Besodas that's why you have to distance it. Elach Lishna the Amit Besodas Pligi, that they're arguing even in a case in a field that is potentially made for boris. So Bishmal Rovanicha, who said you have to distance it. And Labaya Kasha, why would you have to distance it? Because we said there's a machlokes that says you're allowed to. Each came at the same time to dig. So then there's a rule that they have to distance. But if there's no board at the time that the one guy comes to dig, then he can dig close to the border. Toshma. Sela habab yadayim. Let's say you have dirt that is crumbly in your hands. It's very soft. You could dig without a shovel. You could dig with your hands. So then, zechoy for bor mikan, v'zechoy for bor mikan. And each can dig their own bore. Zeh marchik shloshet tefachim v'sad b'sid. Each guy has to make it 3 tefachim away and line it with lime. So mashma, even the first guy who builds it, and there is nothing there yet, would have to be marchik it. So that's like Rava. The Gemara says Bab Yadayim shiny. That might be different because the earth is so soft that you have to be marchik even more. But if it's not soft, you won't have to be marchik. Uda ka'orila, my ka'orila. You had a kasha. Where's the kasha? Because it seems like the Bryce is talking about any type of ground, not just soft ground. So the chiddush is Bab Yadayim Yitztrichalei. The chiddush is for the soft ground. Because I might have thought Shekivin Shabbat Yidam the boy Nami Berevichat Fei. Since the ground is very soft, I might think you'd have to distance it even more than 3 tfachim. Kamash that you don't. Okay. We'll stop here and we'll pick up tomorrow 9 o'clock. Good to see everybody. We'll see have a good
Tomorrow.
Okay. Enjoy it. Enjoy, Ernie.
thank you very much. Thank you.